Fish sauce is a rich, flavorful seasoning and essential to Southeast Asian cuisines. It's perfect for my Vietnamese-style turkey meatballs with dipping sauce. I'm Chef Heidi Fink, and that's what we're cooking on the coast. Get ready to transport your taste buds with my Vietnamese-style turkey meatballs. This is a flavorful fusion dish, and it's great for meal prep because you can make it ahead of time. Let's get started. So in here, I have 500 grams of ground turkey breast. I've also made this with turkey thigh, which is a little juicier, so I might add a bit of oil to this. You can also make this with pork or beef, whatever you feel like. So, you know, it's what your family likes, what your health and your budget can handle. So I'm gonna start by adding just a tablespoon of oil to this. Now, if you are using beef or pork or turkey thigh, you can skip the tablespoon of oil. You just need a little bit in there. Turkey breast is a very lean cut, so you need a little bit of oil. So the next thing we're gonna work on is the panade. So if you've watched my episode on meatballs from season 1, which you can catch on CHEK Plus, we talk about a panade in that episode. And the panade is something that holds the meatball texture. It keeps it moist. It holds it together, but doesn't dry it out. So we're gonna grab some water. I've got 30 grams of white bread in there. This is just a French bread cut into cubes. It's about 1 cup of cubes, depending on how dense the bread is. And we're gonna add 3 tablespoons of water to that. And then we're gonna grab a fork and we're gonna mash that. So the important thing about a panade is that it's supposed to, in the end, look like baby food. So you have to adjust the amount of water you have, depending on how dry the bread is. So some types of bread are a lot moister and don't absorb as much water. Some are a bit drier. So just adjust. So this is feeling pretty good. 3 tablespoons is gonna be good on this. Let's just mash. So very, very important, make sure you completely mash this up. You don't want big chunks of bread in your meatballs. You want it to disperse evenly into the meatballs and help the meatballs hold moisture. We're gonna put that into our turkey now. And then we're gonna add a bunch of aromatic ingredients. So to get this Vietnamese-inspired dish, we're gonna be adding some fish sauce, brown sugar, lemongrass, green onions, and cilantro stems. So let's start with the green onions. I have 2 tablespoons of minced green onion here. And then we're gonna talk about the cilantro stems. So this is something that might surprise you. The cilantro stems are perfectly edible and they have a stronger flavor. And so we're gonna use the cilantro stems in here instead of the leaves to give it a more powerful flavor that will come through the meatballs. So you just mince them up from the stem side. Obviously, cut the dry ends off and get rid of them and then just mince them up. If you get a few leaves in there, that's totally fine. You need about 2 tablespoons of that. That looks like about 2 tablespoons. And this is kind of a dupe for cilantro root, which is what they would actually be using in Vietnam and a lot of countries in Southeast Asia. But cilantro root is pretty hard to come by on Vancouver Island. So cilantro stems is your next best option. Just make sure you mince them up very, very fine. And for those of you who are cilantro haters, because I know there's some of you, I would just leave this out. I wouldn't try to replace it with anything. Or if you really do want to replace it with something that's like really aromatic, another herb that's used a lot in savory Vietnamese cooking is fresh mint. So you could use maybe a tablespoon of fresh mint in here. But otherwise, just leave it out. Parsley is not a good substitute for cilantro, even though it's green. All right, so we've got our 2 tablespoons of cilantro, 2 tablespoons of green onion. Now we're gonna add a tablespoon of lemongrass, okay? So fresh lemongrass, you only ever use the belly of the lemongrass right here. So we're just gonna cut that part off, cut the root off. This part you just discard, not before you smell. It smells so good, it smells like fresh lemon. The other thing you can use, if you cannot find fresh lemongrass, is you can sometimes buy tubes of lemongrass paste. You can use a couple teaspoons of that. So we're looking for a tablespoon of fresh lemongrass, but first we've got to remove this root end right here. Or I guess that's the core, so we've got to pop that out. And then you're going to mince this up very, very fine. And yes, the lemongrass paste in the tube works quite well, but you don't need to use as much. So like I said, 2 teaspoons as opposed to a tablespoon. A tablespoon is 3 teaspoons, in case you didn't know. It's really handy to have a sharp knife when you're doing this. Lemongrass can be pretty tough to cut. So I think I'm gonna need half of this. Just make sure you get any of these long bits out. Okay, mincy mince. I don't know why every time I mince something I have to say mincy mince. Don't ask me why. Oh, I hear my timer for my rice. I started some jasmine rice earlier that we're gonna be serving with the meatballs. I'm just gonna take that off the heat and let it sit. Okay, back we are. This might be a little bit more than a tablespoon, but I'm just gonna use it all up. It's okay if the measurements are a little bit flexible. Okay, now next we need a tablespoon of brown sugar. There we go. Then we need a tablespoon of fish sauce. Okay, this is pretty important in Vietnamese cooking. It's what they use for a salting agent. So, I mean, you can make this without fish sauce if you want to. So what I would do in that case is I would use a little bit of extra water in the panade and then add a little bit of extra salt, because I'm gonna be also adding some salt to this. Fish sauce is a fermented fish product that is heavily salted, but has a very powerful umami flavor. All right, next we need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and then a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne. Now you could obviously do more or less of the cayenne depending. This just gives it a very mild heat, not too spicy. But if you want it to be spicier, you could add more, you could add less. So now I'm gonna mix that up. I'm gonna use my gloves as usual. And I'm also gonna get a tray with parchment, because I'm gonna mix this up and then we're gonna throw it in the oven. So I'm gonna bake these in a 375-degree convection oven or 400-degree regular oven, 400 or 425, or you can also do these in the air fryer. But because I'm making a pretty significant batch, I'm just gonna do it in the oven. So what you wanna do here is you wanna make sure that it's completely mixed. So give it, at least a minute. You wanna disperse that bread panade and all those aromatics and seasonings completely evenly into the turkey or beef or pork or whatever you're using. And you don't want to have, like a chunk of lemongrass or a chunk of bread or a chunk of unseasoned meat. And also the more you work it, the more likely it is to hold together too. So, and I'm not using egg. So this is something I get asked a lot, like why am I not using an egg in my meatballs? If you're using a panade, you don't need to have egg. Panade not only holds the meatballs together, but helps it stay moist. Usually panade has a dairy product in it, but for this, I'm just using water and it works great. Okay, there we go. Meatballs, you know what? I can smell, like right now, all I'm smelling is like cilantro, lemongrass, etc. Okay, so I'm just going to divide this into, meatballs about the size of a golf ball. You should get about 12 meatballs out of this. Try to get them to the same size. If you have like a small ice cream scoop, that'd be a really good way, a superior way to divide them up. Okay, now the other thing I like to do, I'm gonna grab this water. So this is something that's actually handy, is get your hands wet, and then the meat doesn't, like the turkey or the beef or pork or whatever you're using, doesn't stick to your hands or gloves, whatever you're using. And once we roll them up, we're gonna just throw them in the oven. Okay, that was the last meatball. Now I'm gonna go take them over to my preheated oven. I have it on a 350-degree convection setting. They take about 20 minutes to cook. Those should take about 20 minutes to cook. Stick around because we're going to turn this into an amazing full meal. But after the break, we're on the road.
Cooking on the Road is brought to you by Whisk Victoria, the small but mighty kitchen gadget store for every home chef.
I'm on the busy corner of Cobble Hill Road and Fisher Road, and I found this cool food truck. It's called the Little Corner Sandwich Shop. Let's check it out. I'm here with Rhonda Campbell, the owner of the Little Corner Sandwich Shop, and she's going to tell us all about it. Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you for coming. It's fantastic to have you here.
So excited. This smells very good already.
Oh, good. We bought it last year.
Yeah.
It's kind of a family thing.
Yeah.
I've been in the restaurant industry probably 25 years now.
Okay.
Always wanted something of my own. My son and I were going to start like a little grilled cheese food truck. You know, I'm supposed to be retiring.
You're supposed to be retiring.
Our good friend told us this was for sale. We came, looked, and I went, okay, we're going to do this.
All right.
Very tight quarters.
Yeah.
We are definitely a family now.
Yeah.
My son works with us here full time, and then my good friend is here as well, and then the other staff have just become my children, whether they like it or not. We're very, very close. The community has embraced us.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
What is it that you think makes you guys stand out?
I think our homemade ingredients, and
Yeah.
we do everything from scratch as much as we possibly can.
Like
our
sauces?
burgers, our
Yeah.
sauces, our garlic aiolis.
Oh, wow.
All our buns and breads come from Country Grocer in
Okay.
Cobble Hill. I do have local farmers that will come and they'll drop me off lettuce when
Okay.
the season starts. We get beets from a gentleman down the road.
I
the
love
gentleman
it.
sells honey across the street, and he brings us his honey, which we use in our honey mustard.
this is such a community endeavor. I love it.
The community is amazing.
I would love to try what you think might be one of your best sellers.
Well, I think it's the Reuben.
Yeah, okay, good. That's one of my favorite sandwiches.
Oh, really?
Yes, yes. I actually named my son after that sandwich.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, I can't wait to try it.
Okay, perfect. Let's go.
Okay,
Come on.
okay.
Let's go. So Carson's making you our famous, which I think is going to be famous, Reuben.
Okay.
I said it's become very, very popular.
Ooh, melting the cheese.
Yeah.
I like this. This is a good twist.
Carson is my son. This was something, like I said earlier, that we kind of wanted to do together. And it was going to be something smaller.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of became a little bit larger, but we are loving every minute of it.
Okay, preheating the sauerkraut, also a professional move. Love it.
Yep.
And then this is the famous mustard.
Yeah.
Ooh, it looks good. I'm pretty stoked to try this sandwich. That's an impressive amount of corned beef too. I am so stoked. This looks so good. And fries,
Yeah, we have nice crispy fries that are very, very popular.
So everything is just made to order like this. Yeah.
Everything.
This is the best part of this job, just going around eating cool
I
food.
know.
Yeah. And meeting cool people. Look at that. This is fantastic. I love me a Reuben sandwich. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And one of these fries is for me?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go sit down and enjoy this. Ooh, I'm excited. I can't wait to dig in.
I'm
Look
excited
at
for you
that.
to try it.
Okay, let's see if I can take a bite. You can just taste the mustard, the sauerkraut, that sauce. Oh. This is great. Thank you so much
No,
for having
thank
me, for showing me
you.
around. It was
Yeah.
great. This was so much fun.
That's fun.
And if you guys are ever in the area in Cobble Hill on Vancouver Island, come check out the Little Corner Sandwich Shop. Welcome back to the kitchen. This season, we're really focusing on family-friendly fare, and meatballs like these Vietnamese-style meatballs really fit the bill. So we're just waiting for them to finish cooking. They're gonna be a few more minutes, so I'm gonna make a delicious dipping sauce to go with it. This dipping sauce is very easy. It's equal parts water, lime juice, fish sauce, and brown sugar, or regular sugar. So let's start with actually our sugar. Oops. Let's start with the sugar. It's really easier to measure out the dry ingredients before you add wet ingredients to your measuring spoon. So 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, or you can use white sugar or a mixture. And then we need 3 tablespoons of water. And then we're gonna do 3 tablespoons of fish sauce. And fish sauce is essential for this dipping sauce. It will not taste the same without it. So if you don't like fish sauce, I don't know what to tell you. There we go, 3 tablespoons of that. And then finally, lime juice. So I'm gonna get these limes. I just wanna give you a little trick about juicing limes. You always wanna pick a lime that is shiny and smooth. It has way more juice in it than limes that have a thicker skin. Let me grab my favorite juicer. And we're just going to juice up these limes. So probably I'll need both these limes, but we'll see. This one might be really juicy. And of course, my amazing juicer always gets stuff out. Okay. One. And also I just need a tiny bit more. This is also really, really important. You want to always use fresh lime juice for this particular dipping sauce. There are recipes where using the bottled lime juice is perfectly fine, but not this recipe. You really need the freshness of the fresh lime juice. It won't taste the same without fresh lime juice. Okay, so we're gonna mix that up. And the other thing that goes in here is some fresh Thai chilies, okay? Very important. We're gonna get a glove. Now you can adjust how much you put in here. This sauce is supposed to be a little bit spicy. You can also just use like a chili paste, but the thing about these chilies is they're very beautiful. So you cut them really, really, really thinly so then they disperse into the juice. Now, or into the, so that they disperse into the dipping sauce. So you can add as little or as many as you like. Obviously, for a true Vietnamese experience, you'd want to have quite a few. But the thing that's nice about cooking this at home is you can do what you like. I like to have, some in there because it just makes this like really beautiful look to the sauce. You can see them floating in there kind of like a garnish. I think the meatballs are almost done. I'm going to check them. They need to be at an internal temperature of 168 Fahrenheit. Oh yeah, they're great. Okay, I'm just gonna turn that oven off and leave them to stay warm in there for a couple of minutes. And I just have to cut up some vegetables to go with this. I like to have it with salad and some rice. So I already have some carrot that I cut into little matchsticks. I have some cherry tomatoes. I have some radishes. And I'm just gonna move those out of the way. I'm just gonna slice up some cucumber quickly, and I already have some lettuce washed up, and then we can just plate them up. So you could do even just like veggie sticks with this. I just noticed there's still chili on my knife, so now my cucumbers are gonna be spicy. Hope people like spice. You could do just veggie sticks with this, or you could do like a salad, or even kind of like steamed vegetable, like steamed broccoli or steamed green beans. But it's really nice to have like crunchy vegetables with this dish. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna get my meatballs out of the oven. It wasn't coming out. All right, now let's get a couple plates. And we're gonna get our rice that we steamed earlier. We'll just do a little, I'm gonna fluff it up first. Do a little bit of rice on each plate. And then we've got to do a little dish of the sauce. So the sauce, you can't just plop the sauce on the plate. You have to put it in little dishes for people. Otherwise, it's gonna just like run all over the plate. So, okay. So give everybody a little bit of this sauce. By the way, you can make this sauce ahead of time. This lasts in the fridge for actually a couple of weeks. Okay, sauce, and then we're gonna just make a little salad here. And so then the idea is you can drizzle the sauce onto the meatballs and onto the little salad that we've made. And it's delicious. There we go, some carrots. I'm just picking, so carrots, cucumbers, and lettuce are pretty traditional. I'm picking a few extra veggies that I like just for color. There we go. Radishes and tomatoes are delicious. I'll move that out of the way. Okay, now I'm just gonna get my meatballs. Okay, some delicious turkey meatballs. So everybody gets 2 to 3 to 4, depending on what they like. All right, I'm just gonna put these meatballs over here. All right, there you have it. A super quick, family-friendly, and full of flavor, my Vietnamese style turkey meatballs.
Pairings are brought to you by Liquor Plus. Discover the plus.
These Vietnamese style meatballs have a little bit of spice and a lot of flavor, so I'm really interested to know what to pair with them. To help us out is Shannon Ward from Liquor Plus. Thanks for joining us again.
Nice to be here again. Thank you. Nice to see you. So when I first saw this recipe, I thought I wanted to pour wine and pair wine with it, but because I'm me, I thought, let's do something a little different.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pour some gin and tonic.
I'm excited about that. When I
Okay.
saw you start putting out the gin, I was like, yes.
Okay, perfect. So I brought Sheringham gin. Their Seaside gin. So this is one of their kind of core brands that they have. And it does have a touch of juniper in it, but it's really quite floral and quite elegant. There's rose petal, lavender, coriander, cumin, and they also put kelp in it.
Oh,
so
kelp, like they harvest kelp
they
locally?
harvest kelp from the island. So there's a lot of flavors in here that kind of complement what you did here.
Yeah,
so
I like it.
So
Yay.
gosh, an ounce for these little glasses seems a little much, but that's okay.
That's okay. I
I
really
spilled
like
a little
gin.
bit, sorry about that. And I just picked up this lime and yuzu.
Okay, I
sparkling.
love those actually. I've been drinking them a lot lately. Okay, this is exciting.
And of course, we need some fruit in there because you can't have a drink without fruit.
Yep.
Looks pretty. There we go.
All right. Ooh, I'm very excited. Thank you so
Cheers.
much. Cheers. Oh man.
You know, not
Yeah.
really like that forest floor, like super juniper heavy. It's really
No, it's
quite
good.
pretty.
I actually, you know what? I tasted even though I've tasted lime and yuzu, but I could taste the coriander in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. Okay, I
I
gotta
thought
try
it would be
with-
kind
yeah.
of, good with these meatballs.
So when you try the meatball, make sure to dip it in the special dipping sauce there.
Okay.
Okay, that's pretty intense. Let's try this with the gin. Oh yeah. Ooh. I like that. That's really good. Thank you.
These are fantastic.
Thank you.
They're super moist. They're great. Like, the spices in there
Lemongrass. A little cilantro.
go perfect
then-
with the gin.
Totally.
A little bit of the spice. Nice with this.
I don't know if it's the kelp in here that goes with the fish sauce, but
That umami
yeah.
kind of, yeah.
Well, thanks so much for this absolutely delicious G&T.
Thanks
I'm
for
very
having
happy
me.
about it.
Thanks for having me. Cheers.
I'd love to see your take on my amazing Vietnamese style family meatballs. Post your photo to social media and tag me. I'm Chef Heidi Fink. The more you learn, the better it tastes.
These are great.
Yeah, you like them?
I really like them.
Oh, good. Yeah, I like them too. I like them a lot. You can also make them with like beef or pork or.
You could, but I like the lightness of the turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice work.
Thanks.